Okay, let's start our presentation. We will talk about the generative AI because this is a very popular topic, especially in the last 2 years where everyone are talking about it, and we will concentrate on how we can really use it in the manufacturing, what innovation could be born based on this technology, and what are the newest technological trends in the robotic area that combined generative AI. First of all, let's start with what is the generative AI? What is the generative AI? How can we use it? Because we heard many different buzzwords like large language models, ChatGPT, which is the product that is based on the large language model, which are the part of the generative AI. We have many different models like Cloud AI, Grok, GPT, Gemini Pro, and many, many else. But what is the generative AI? In, let's call it, high-level definition, generative AI is a new trend in AI where we use the specific machine learning models that are trained in generating content. And what is this content? It could be the text, it could be the images, it could be a video, it could be a code, it could be the instruction for the robots, it could be everything else that we as a human normally can create. And based on it, this technological concept become very popular in a couple of the last years. This is the Google Trends that show the, let's call it, extremely high level of interest in the AI after the huge success of ChatGPT. And why this happened? Here we have two different, let's call it, parts that were major at this trend. So first one was the democratization of the technology, because when ChatGPT was released, everyone could just go log in through the browser and use the, at this point, most advanced AI system. And the second one, which is much more interesting from our perspective, was one single concept. So normally when you train the machine learning models, or NAI, artificial narrow intelligence, you have the models that solve the specific problem for which they were trained for. So for example, we have like the classification model that could tell us if something is defected or not, it can do only this. If we have a prediction model that create a forecast for sales, it can do only this. But in the case of large language models, many people understand that they were the models that were trained and created to predict next word in the sequence. So for example, we have the one sentence, and the main goal was to predict which next words should be in this sentence. But with training process, this model needs to fulfill this task, they need to truly understand what was the context. They need to develop the reasoning that allows them to understand, to predict, and to generate a specific content that sometimes was based not on the data that they were trained on. And that was the most magical thing about it, because they create the technology that can do many different tasks that it not was created for. So for example, it was not trained to do this, but it can do this, because in the process for solving this simple task, like predicting next word in the sentence, it developed much, let's call it, complex skill set. And this is called in-context learning. So for example, if we put some data as the input to such model, then the model will be able, based on this data and the process of reasoning that it's already acquired through the basic training, solve the problems that never before this model saw. And that was the spark of something that is called AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, where we have AI systems that works very similar to our brains, that works on the same level of the intelligence as humans. And because of this, whole world start to thinking about how to use this technology, because this frontier of AGI was like in the next 5 or 10 years achievable for the humans. And this is how it started, and this is how it's going. So now when we are browsing the internet, we can see many different reports about how this generative AI improve productivity in, let's call it customer support, writing business documentation, or even software development. There are many different case studies that are showing that using this specific technology, you can do much more work in the less time with the fewer, let's call it, people. And there's also many companies, like, for example, Boston Consulting Group, who published studies about how their consultants using the generative AI can be more productive, can work faster, and can create the outcome with the higher quality. But the question is, what about manufacturing? How can we use the same technology here? And what are the top trends that I will present you that in the next 2 to 5 years will be a standard level in all manufacturing processes? So here are the examples why or how and where we can use this generative technology. First of all, we can use it in the, let's call it a little bit a buzzword, like the predictive maintenance, where we can use its ability to understand different type of the data and build the multimodal mechanism that can assess not only the, let's call it tabular data for this process, but also the images, but also the videos, but also everything else, like, for example, documentation of a specific parts of a specific elements that can be analyzed and together with the tabular data used to predict the failures or the problems in our machinery, production lines, and many, many others. We can use it for the product design and the development, on which Rafał will talk a little bit later. We can create the internal assistant, intelligent robot decision-making, customers and sales support systems, and humanoid general-purpose robot that can move inside, let's call it, our reality and the same level of efficiency as human can. But before this, who we are and what we are doing here. So my name is Damian Mazurek. I'm Chief Innovation Officer at SoftwareMind. And together with me today is Rafał Frączak, who is the CTO at Argeist. Rafał, do you hear us? Oh, you are on mute. And I don't know why, but on presentation you are also frozen. Well, on my computer he is alive.
The internet connection, just wait for a second.
Yeah. Well, on this PC it's working perfectly. Yeah, he's moving. But yeah. Okay, so maybe I will go forward a little bit and waiting for. So I will introduce Rafał myself. So Rafał and the Argeist are one of our customers that go with this journey to use the generative AI in the manufacturing processes for designing the specific products and artworks that they produce as end-user products, like, for example, paintings, wallpapers, pillows, and many, many others. They try to use the advantage of the intelligence level of the specific models to develop new, let's call it, patterns, and to automate the whole production line. But Rafał will speak a little bit more about it in the moment. Can you, Rafał, say something? Just to check. Yeah, he is speaking right now. but I cannot hear you. And can you say something again?
Yes, I can say something again.
Oh, yes.
1, 2,
Now we can
3,
hear you.
4.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So one more time. Hello, everyone. I cannot see you, but I believe you are there. My name is Rafał Frączak, as Damian say, and I'm the CTO of Arcase, the company who's working in. We are manufacturer and e-commerce both in the one, and we are selling the wall decors around the Europe and North America. And I believe the case will be a little bit later. So
Yes.
for now, this is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. So a couple of words about us as Software Mind, as on every good sales presentation. So we are the international company that create, let's call it, software solutions, but not only. We also provide the solution based on the newest technology like generative AI, cloud computing, which now is maybe not such new things, but still it's very popular. We are based in many different countries. We have the expertise in many different areas, starting from, as I said, the newest technology up to classic software development and creating the embedded and IoT solutions. We are regional partners and business partners. Oops, I don't know why, but presentation is not working here. That's.
Maybe we have to restart all the voice.
Okay, sorry, I didn't see this. Okay, we have, Rafał, some technical issues, so. Okay, it's restarting.
But we are still connected to him.
Yes.
I see him from here.
Okay, so maybe Rafał, can you say something? I don't know if we can hear you.
Okay,
Okay.
let's try.
So maybe meanwhile, where our IT support fix the, let's call it, main presentation problem, we can go to our, still nothing. We can go to our generative AI product design, and you can speak a little bit about your journey in this area.
Okay. Oh, it's a good moment. I should start, right?
Yes.
Damian? All right. So let me just show you the path we go with Software Mind from the last year. We decided to go into generative AI because we are the company who's selling the design, actually, on a different formats, as Damian mentioned. We sell canvas, wall murals, wallpapers, posters, room dividers, and many, many more. But the key of our company is the design. And we are selling what you see, and you love what you see. That's why the design is so important. So we decided to leverage the AI technology in product design, and we start the product on basis of model Stable Diffusion. It's one of the models who generates graphics. And we started the project like mid of last year, and we finished in the end of the last year, and we have some story to tell. First of all, we want to do extensive tests with the Stable Diffusion into our environment. We need to be sure that this is safe for us, and this is like the old generated stuff stay inside the company, because this is also the property of these images, and we don't want to spread it all over the internet. That's why we decided to put Stable Diffusion into our infrastructure. We also aim to train the model to have this unique pattern generation inspired by company's artistic vision, because we have some knowledge about what our customers like, and we don't want to Stable Diffusion to generate like random designs. We want these designs to have some kind of spirit of artist. That's why we train the model with our designs and put in like another team on that. And last step was like to introducing our designers to work with the model. So we produced a system that they were capable to work with and try to generate designs based with our teams. And of course, it was based on text, so it was a prompt generating. And we trained it and tested a lot. And we decided that the designs are so promising that we want to test it out on the production. So the next step was to scale it up and go through the graphic processing. This is not fully automated. You have to know that, because designs from Stable Diffusion just is like an alpha product. Then we go with our designers, so the human, and we make this graphic processing, and then it's ready for selling. But this is working, and we are actually up and running. We have some product on our website, and we are selling the AI-generated patterns. Not every time we are saying that this is AI-generated. We are not saying that, because this is not important. Important is what you like and what you buy. So Stable Diffusion is for us a tool right now. It's another tool for graphic and designers, and they use it to leverage their work, the speed of the work, and to have the inspiration. Last thing that is maybe not obvious, but is very important for me. When you are a graphic designer and try to figure out what kind of image you want to create, sometimes you have a lack of ideas. And this solution also combined with ChatGPT to generate better prompts can be for you some kind of inspiration. You can imagine that you want to create a great abstraction sunset view. And this is enough for generative AI model to give you some examples of designs. And you can generate it many, many times. And finally, you find something that is promising, and then you can work and polish that. So this is something that is not obvious, but for me, it's very important that we can randomly generate the pictures sometimes to have something new ideas on what we can do. So concluding this quick discussion, the process of using AI for us was like redefining the potential in wall decor. We highlight the role of AI and augmented tools to create a new way of working with design in this industry. For me, it's something similar to the innovating camera in 19th centuries. We just innovate a new tool for our people to make it create better designs and better work. Something like that. Thank you.
Thank you. So they use the Stable Diffusion model to generate the specific designs based on the text input. So for example, now, correct me if I'm wrong, Rafał, but when you want to develop a new pattern, you just describe it. And because of this, you can really easily segregate the patterns and the trend on the market, because you can see what are the top sellers in the e-commerce. You can see what are the main motives on the social media that are trending right now, and based on it, generate your own patterns. Then using the human in the loop approach, when you have also the designer, you can adjust it, modify it, and based on it, create the new line of the designs and the products. So this is how we can use the generative AI for the product design. And let's go without like presentation. So next one is the predictive maintenance. Here we can use the same tech, so we can use our generative AI in this specific, let's call it scenario, the large language model, which are multimodal, so can analyze the image and can analyze other type of the data and use it in our flow to categorize and detect the specific issue in, for example, our products, in our production lines. I have here 2 examples, but as I see, I will not be able to show you that. But for example, if you have the access for the ChatGPT at this moment on your mobile phone. You can create a very quick exercise that will allow you to test this technology and create a simple description that you are our predictive maintenance AI assistant. I will upload you an image, and based on this image, you will tell me what are the issues with a specific product. The results put in the specific table with a priority of the defect and the proposal for the quick fix that can solve it. And then, if you upload any image of whatever thing, product, let's call it more complex mechanism, it will be able very accurately to detect the defects, the problems, for example, with the electric installation, with manufacturing of the bottles and everything else, and told you what this defect has the impact on the specific, let's call it, on the specific product, on the specific process, and how to fix it. And why can it do this? Because normally, our multimodal large language model processes the information the same as we do. So they are trained to gather the information from the different type of the representation and translate it to the vector representation. It's called the embedding process. Based on this information and the reasoning process, they are able to process to detect the things that even sometimes for us human, it's hard to detect just watching a specific, let's call it object or the specific technology. And because of this, we can plug this mechanism in our automated processes of quality assurance and detect what is wrong, what will be the specific consequences of errors in production lines, of defects of the specific products, or the way that we are using it in our, let's call it, daily production environments. So, for example, we're working now for one of the biggest European telecom for such a project, where we using the specific image classification for their installators that can tell if their specific product, for example, when someone wants to create the internet connection, was properly installed with every, let's call it, standards that are required in building the connection, connecting the specific devices, install them in the specific boxes, etc. And this all is done only based on this level of the observation and the intelligence. Okay. Yeah. So the next one is more tricky because it will be hard to show you without pictures. Oh, yeah, this is, maybe we can do this like this.
Maybe you can directly plug it there into it. Gibt es ein Problem für die Verbindung?
Guys, can we put the laptop directly to the screen?
Yeah, we have an NDI issue, and we're in the second room. We have the same issue at the same time, so we're working hard on it in order to fix that.
Yeah, but we
Please switch off your phone.
From the projector to directly to the laptop.
Okay. And there is this common joke: how many IT people is required to plug in? Yeah.
Just make your picture, maybe not the solution.
That's the great idea.
Please make a picture. How many pictures you need?
Yes.
Use your AI.
That would be great experiment.
There are enough cables. You
But I think that could be a software problem here, not,
You know, we're from engineering. You have to make the boundary of your system.
Exactly.
Right? You know, maybe it's not communications.
Okay, so this solution also not working. Okay. So are there any chances that it will work? Okay, so may I please then assistant? That was
I will play like an assistant to Damian, and let's do it like this.
Like in boxing, like in boxing. Now for round 7.
Or it will work, or not.
I don't know. Okay, can you play the video because it's like, yeah. So now we want to show you how the same technology works in the robotics. So I don't know if you can see, but here is the robotic manipulator that has the one task. Always put the red blocks near to the cup of the coffee. And it understands, oops, it's paused. Oh yes, here is again. And it's understand the reality as we are understanding. So if someone will put the cup on the second part, then the robot will use the generative AI to understand where the specific objects are, what next steps it should do, and translate it directly to the robotic instruction to fulfill this task. And this is the future of the robotics, when you can create the robots and give them, using the natural language, so just talking with them, the instruction to do the specific process, and they will be able to figure out how to do it by themselves. And they will be able to, as we can see here, this is the simple example, put the red boxes near the cup, but they can do much more complicated scenarios. And also, if we move a little bit, I don't know if this will work, but there is this robot called Figure 01, which is created together with the OpenAI, where this robot is like the human and can operate in the same way, and it can deeply understand the environment, move around it, and you can talk with it using the human voice. I don't know if we can play it or not. Let's see. No, okay. So I will just explain.
Let's continue like that.
It's on
Yeah. So if you find this Figure 01 on YouTube, you will see that this robot, if you ask it what is on the specific table, what is before him or it, let's call it, it will be able to describe it. But if you put, for example, some apples and some like metal parts, and you ask it not what is there, but you ask it, give me something to eat, which is the high level of the abstraction on the instruction level, then it will figure out that you can eat apple, but you cannot eat the metal parts. So it will locate them, it will grab it with its humanoid manipulator, and it will give you the apple. And then if you ask this robot, why did you do this? It will explain that apples are eatable and the metal parts are not, and that was the only food that it found in the new environment, so it just took it and gave it to you. And this is just amazing, because now we are on this level of the robotics development using the generative AI, where the robots can do the, maybe not at this moment, same work as human, but they can do this in the same, let's call it, level of understanding the environment and the specific movements. And many companies like, for example, Google, here Figure 1, and now also the NVIDIA, which creates something, and this is like from this week, the GRUD framework for creating the generative robots based on this model where the robots can manipulate in the space as same as we human can. They are heavily investing in changing the whole manufacturing and changing the like many different industry, creating the robots that can like do everything that we human can, and also can learn by observing us. So we, for example, when we have some specialist that is working on a very complicated task, the robot, just by observing the work of this person, can learn how to do this, and then it can do it on the human level. And this is the future that we will observe in the next 2 or 3 years, where our whole manufacturing and processes will be dominated by this human-like working robots, and other, let's call it, tools. Okay, so that's all for today. Sorry for some technical problems and inconvenience. Michael, you are a really strong person. This is heavy laptop.
Thank you.
So thank you.